there is a potential for bigger move this week in all the instrument, as we have seen that past week and this month, and we have seen DXY had significant consolidation on the daily, and which is very highly likely that we will have a breakout including gold. As also there is NFP week coming up, very volatile week. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity currently we have in the upcoming week. Now before we progress to that, let's quickly recap our weekly forex forecast in the past week. What happened with DXY? Now looking at the intraday perspective on DXY, we can see that the market has formed a double top in that area. After this gap opening and a strong movement, the price we can expect from this level to drop down to retest this consolidation pattern here. There is a long consolidation pattern, and with that consolidation pattern, the price has formed this previous resistance level here, resistance here, along with this gap opening, which we can expect to be retested as a support, and from this level we can expect DXY to revert back up again. So now if we look at DXY on the intraday time frame, we can see that from that level exactly DXY has dropped to that gap level, which is a high liquidity zone, and has gone back up and closed as a bullish candle. Now let's see what kind of trading opportunity we will have in the upcoming week. Now I'll be doing one by one complete multi-time frame analysis to see the possible entry opportunity. Now before I progress further, make sure that you smash the like button and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't done yet. This is Forex Wizard from Forex Trading Wizard Academy. Without further delay, let's get started. Okay, today, so let's begin with DXY as usual, and then we'll be looking at other instruments as well, including gold and JPY pairs. So make sure you stick till the end of this weekly forex forecast. Looking at first of all higher time frame, looking at the monthly chart on DXY, we can see that from the monthly, this is almost at the end of the month on DXY. After opening this month, DXY has started to move to the upside, and with that move, what we can expect on DXY for the price to move up further, as we have seen back-to-back 2 months of drop to the support, gather the liquidity, and it is in a bullish momentum from the monthly perspective. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that back-to-back quite a few weeks of bullish movement, the price is still maintaining series of higher low in this weekly price action. And if we look at here, there was a big drop on the weekly to this support level. The market has bounced back to the upside. Now with that bounce, what I think that this price ultimately will try to break this weekly swing high, and this week we saw a long week candle. What I think that this week, in the upcoming week, we could see initial pullback to this support, and then we can expect it to go back up to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the daily chart, we can see a bit more clearer picture on DXY. This is the daily gap opening here, and the price has tested this level in the upcoming past week, and we have seen that there was a strong rejection from this gap opening. There are two probable scenarios this week is for the price might try to retest this gap again. What I think that, as you can see, the gap has not been tested properly. Still there is an imbalance in that area, and which is a very important area of value, which is the smart money zone. What I think that this week we might see an initial sudden drop to test this gap to fill that imbalance, and then we can expect DXY to move back up to the resistance level. Now if we look at the intraday perspective, we can see that DXY was consolidating here for an extended period of time, and we have seen initial liquidity grab to the upside. After that liquidity grab, we have seen another rejection and form a triple top, and the price might struggle to break this high initially without further liquidity grab, as there is a a little bit of imbalance in that area. As you can see, this gap has not been tested properly, and the market doesn't like to leave a gap fully unchecked. So what I think that this week we could see initial downside on DXY to fill that gap, and then we can expect it to go up to retest this resistance level. This could be the wave for DXY, initial drop and then continuation to the upside. Now based on that DXY wave, we will be analyzing now all the instrument that is related to DXY. I will be starting with first euro dollar and GBP USD, and then we'll look for other instrument as well, looking at euro dollar, starting with first of all monthly chart. Now looking at monthly perspective on euro dollar, we can see that from the monthly euro dollar so far bearish. As you can see, after back-to-back 3 months of bullish move, this month's euro dollar had an initial drop, as we are expecting DXY initially to go down and then go up. So we could see a mirror effect on euro dollar. Now if we look at the weekly chart on euro dollar, we can see that from the weekly there is a gap opening and also a middleman formation, which is potentially a bearish, just the mirror of DXY. And what I think that this week we might see initial pullback to the upside. Either we could see a test of this gap or even breaking this high, then continuing to the downside. Still we could see a bearish move for long-term perspective on euro dollar. Now if we look at the daily chart on euro dollar, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily price action and this is the resistance level on the daily chart on euro dollar. And what I think that initially we could see an upside bias to retest and then continuation to the downside to this support level. As if you look at with this impulse, euro dollar is gathering liquidity from the resistance. There is a multiple times we have seen a very strong liquidity grab, means that euro dollar will try to drop to this support or even breaking that low to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the intraday perspective, where we can see there was an unusual move to the upside to this resistance level, and the price has gathered enough liquidity and then has dropped, which is now trending to the downside. And what I think that euro dollar might initially could try to retest this level again, and then we can expect for the price to drop down, as we are expecting DXY initially to come down and then go up. On euro dollar we can expect to go up initially and then to drop down to this support level. This is the level that we will be waiting for potential entry opportunity on euro dollar. Now let's look at GBP USD. Now if we look at GBP USD, we can see that from the monthly perspective on GBP USD, this is the monthly price action on GBP USD. There is a back-to-back 2 months of bullish move on GBP USD, followed by this month we have seen that initial pullback to the upside. We have seen first drop and then pullback. What I think that this week we might see, after a retest on the monthly resistance level, we can expect GBP USD to drop down again. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly time frame, the price is not getting enough strength to go up, and we have seen initially move up and the price again started to drop to the downside. Now if we look at the daily chart on GBP USD, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily big impulse, followed by this daily candle, so far a liquidity candle. And with that liquidity candle, what we have seen that on this zone, GBP USD has gathered liquidity and formed as a doji. The price slowly maintaining series of lower high, which is the sign that the price might drop down again below this support level. This is the liquidity zone from the support perspective. And what I think that this week we might see that initial movement to the upside and then continuation to the downside to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the intraday perspective on GBPUSD, we can see there was a manipulation here, a big manipulation candle, and the price has dropped down again to the support level. So multiple manipulation is signaling potential downside on GBPUSD. With the market open, we will be waiting for initial pullback to this resistance, and from that zone we can expect GBPUSD to give us potential selling opportunity. As soon as we will find price action confirmation, we will look for going short on GBPUSD. Now let's look at dollar CAD. Looking at monthly perspective on dollar CAD. Now looking at the monthly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that there was a big drop to the support level, followed by this is another bullish candle on the monthly on dollar CAD, and already the price has made a move from the monthly, has come down for a pullback. So what we can expect this week, dollar CAD to come down again for a pullback and then continuation to the upside. Now if we look at the weekly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that back to back almost 4 weeks bullish move. At the same time, the price is forming long wick candle here, which there is some selling pressure as CAD is getting a bit stronger. What I think that this week we might see that dollar CAD might initially drop with the weakness on DXY. We can expect dollar CAD to drop down and then move up at the end of the month or at the end of the week to the upside. Now if we look at the daily perspective on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily, this is a bullish price action, and the price in that zone has got a bit more resistance here, and we saw that quite a few daily rejection from this level. Now with that rejection, what I think that dollar CAD will try to gather liquidity from those support levels. As we can see, quite a few long wick candles has been rejected from this level, and this is the zone that I will be waiting on dollar CAD to drop down and then to go back up again. So if we look at the intraday perspective, where we can see that dollar CAD is currently in a consolidation, so we might see initially going up a little bit to gather liquidity and then dropping down, and this could be the zone where we can look for potential buying and selling opportunity on dollar CAD. If we see the price has gathered enough liquidity from this resistance, we will look for short on dollar CAD to this level. Once we see throughout the week dollar CAD has given us suitable entry from this level, we will look for going long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at dollar yen. Let's see what kind of opportunity. After yen pairs, we will be looking at gold. So make sure, guys and girls, you stick till the end of this session. Looking at the monthly chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the monthly time frame, after the previous monthly drop to the support level, this month's dollar yen had a huge move to the upside. So far it is showing a very strong bullish price action. As we have seen, the price has dropped to the support level. We can expect for the price to move up to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the weekly time frame, we can see that there is a weekly narrow doji on dollar yen, and with that narrow doji, the price has made a big move followed by a narrow doji, which is in fact a bullish price action. What I think that this week we might see that the price coming down here, testing this and then going back up again to create a new higher high. Now looking at the daily chart on dollar yen, we can see that after this daily manipulation, dollar yen from the daily has formed a doji and bullish candle, which is in fact potentially bullish price action. What we could see this week, initial pullback and then continuation to the upside. As this market trend is very stronger, we can expect for the price to continue to the upside. Now from the intraday, we can see that dollar yen had a huge drop here. This is the 4-hour bearish move on dollar yen, and with that bearish move, the price has broken this liquidity zone, and after break of this liquidity zone, dollar yen had managed to break to the upside which form another bullish market structure. So any pullback to this support level will give us potential buying opportunity on dollar yen. As soon as we will find suitable entry on dollar yen, we will look for going long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at GBP JPY. Let's see what kind of price action we have. Now looking at the monthly chart on GJ, we can see that after previous monthly break of structure to the downside on GBP JPY, this month the market had a huge move to the upside, and with that move the price currently above this monthly resistance level, and we can expect for the price to keep pushing high to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the weekly chart on GJ, we can see that from the weekly there was a back-to-back 3 weeks of huge bullish move. This week the market was in a very narrow range form, a very narrow doji, which in fact sign that the bulls are very stronger in comparison with the bears. So we can expect this week what I think that the price either break this low to create a new lower low and then bouncing back up to break this resistance level. If we look at the daily chart, we can see that GBP JPY was consolidating in that area for a long time, and what I think that this week we might see the price will try to break the low to gather further liquidity and then to continue to the upside. The way the price is heading, the chances for the trend continuation is very high, but we might see further liquidity grab here. Now if we look at the intraday perspective on GBP JPY, we can see that here back-to-back 3 sessions bullish move, and as the price was consolidating for a long time, I think that this week we might see initial or later a drop to this level. Breaking this low, gathering liquidity will give a very high probability for GBP JPY to move to the upside to create a new higher high. So now let's look at CAD JPY. Now looking at monthly perspective on CAD JPY, we can see that this market also after previous monthly bearish move, which is a complete manipulation. Now this month we can see that CAD JPY is heading to the upside. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly perspective it is a very strongly bull market. There was a big bullish engulfer followed by a very narrow doji, so that's a sign that CAD JPY is showing significant bullish, and I think that this week we might see that the price will try to fill some of the long week and then continuation to the upside. Now if we look at the daily chart, as we can see that CAD looks very stronger, so we might see that with the strengthening of oil, CAD also stronger, we can expect for the price to come down for a deeper pullback and then to continue to the upside. Now if we look at the intraday perspective on CAD JPY, we can see that there was multiple liquidity grab has given CAD JPY a very stronger momentum. We'll be waiting for the price to come down to retest and then to continue to the upside. So any kind of pullback to this liquidity zone, we will look for going long on CAD JPY with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at gold. Let's see what kind of opportunity we have in gold. Now looking at the monthly chart on gold, we can see that from the monthly perspective, past month there was a long week candle that had triggered all-time high. As a result, this month we have seen that gold initially after a little pullback the market started to drop, which is a sign that as the market triggered all-time high we could see deeper drop on gold, and I think that it was a bubble. As you have seen, due to the war we have seen an unusual move to the upside as the bubble has a little bit of burst on this all-time high price creation with this long week candle. We could see that gold will try to break this monthly series of higher low. So with that being said, what I think that gold in the first move we can expect a break of this monthly low. So if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that the price is reflecting that long-term potential downside, and you can see that after this big drop the bulls tried to create a new higher high, but instead we saw that every week the market is forming series of lower high, and there is a long wick candle on the weekly, followed by this week we have seen that after initial movement to the upside, the market again formed another bearish candle. The way the price action is forming, what I think that this week gold may continue to drop. After initial pullback, we can expect gold to drop down. I think that in the first move, we can expect for the price to retest the weekly 20 EMA. Now, if we look at the daily chart on gold, we can see that from the daily, this is the daily bullish move followed by another bearish candle. So the price is slowly creating, if you look at the daily chart, series of lower high in that area. And also from the daily there is a higher low as well. So what I think that initially we could see an upside bias and then dropping down to create a new lower low. So if we look at the 4-hour time frame to see how gold is doing, we can see that from the intraday perspective there was a big drop here and then a bear flag. The price has dropped down to the support again. What I think that with this market open, we can expect gold to initially go back up again, and above this level there is a high liquidity, and from that zone we can expect gold to drop down. If we look at a bit more lower time frame to see potential price action, we can see that the market here on the 1-hour chart showing bearish pattern. As you have seen, there was a drop, and with that drop the price consolidated in the last session of the trading week. What I think that the price will try to break this high again, and above this resistance is where there is a high probability and liquidity. So this is where I will be waiting. Potentially we could see a retest of this long-term resistance level. Any bounce to the upside in this zone, I will be waiting in the beginning of the week for potential selling opportunity on gold. As soon as we will find suitable entry for this potential move to the downside, we will look for going short on gold with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at WTI. Let's see what kind of price action we have. Looking at the monthly chart on WTI, we can see that from the monthly, WTI is currently bullish. After back-to-back 3 months of drop, WTI managed to break to the upside, and with that breakout we can see that WTI currently moving to the upside to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the weekly chart on WTI, we can see that from the weekly perspective this is a very strong bullish price action on the weekly. And what I think that as the market managed to break to the upside from this structure, we could see that continuation to the upside, at least to break this weekly resistance or even to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the daily chart, this is a very strong now bullish trend. Any pullback to the downside will give us another opportunity to go long on WTI, and I think that the price will try to break this high, and as the market has consolidated here and break to the upside, it might even ultimately go back to the resistance level again for long-term perspective. So from the intraday we can see there is a middleman formation with a very strong liquidity trigger in it, and I will be waiting for any kind of price action confirmation with the market open to this level. Any pullback or price action confirmation for potential bullish move to the upside on WTI, will look for going long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at Euro AUD. Now looking at the monthly chart on Euro AUD, we can see that from the monthly, this is a bullish market at the moment. If you look at the overall market structure on Euro AUD, there is a big monthly impulse followed by consolidation, and we have seen a liquidity grab on Euro AUD, and after that the price has managed to break to the upside again to create a new higher high. So this is the monthly price action which is showing potential bullish. It's a bullish engulfer, and I think that Euro AUD slowly will try to create a new higher high. So if we look at the weekly chart, we can see back to back after 3 weeks of a bullish move, this week has formed a narrow doji. Now this week we might see again feeling some of this weekly candle, and from that zone we can expect for the price to bounce back up again. Now if we look at the daily chart on Euro AUD, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily impulse, and then we have seen a bull flag. The way the price is forming, we could see another retest of this daily support, and then we can expect for the price to continue to the upside. Now from the intraday perspective, we see that there was a drop, consolidation, a breakout. I will be waiting for initial pullback again to this support level, and from that zone we can expect for a potential bullish trading opportunity on Euro AUD. As we have seen from this structure, the price has broken down, gather liquidity. Any retest will give us potential buying opportunity on Euro AUD. Now these are the instrument we will be looking for trading opportunity in the upcoming week. In addition to that, any instrument that's showing us potential entry, we'll look for going long or short based on the price action confirmation. I believe that, guys and girls, you enjoyed this weekly Forex forecast. Any instrument coming up in the upcoming week and days, I will also keep you updated. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.